Well, good afternoon. This is Don again with Stitching and Picking with Don. I'm here in my basement with my quilting frame and a new quilt. I got the one that I was working on last time finished and quilted and bound, and in fact, it's sitting in on a bed right now, so I'm feeling really good about that. I put this one together over the weekend and I have it on the frame all stretched out and ready to go. And I had it pointed out to me last night by a picker friend, not a stitcher friend, but a picker friend, that while he'd seen me do plenty of picking, he'd never seen me do any stitching. Now, I didn't suspect any suspicion on his part, but I thought today I would do just a little bit of stitching just to prove that I am indeed doing that part of it as well. So bear with me. For just a moment here, I have here in my right hand my quilting machine, as opposed to, those things with the motors on it. I'm going to take just a few stitches here to show you how awesome this is. You have to watch carefully because never once do my fingers leave my hand. I'm that quick. And I'm also that accurate. You need to know that these stitches are so precise, the thread comes out of the hole that my needle makes going into the fabric, and the hole that my needle makes coming out of the fabric in exactly the same place every time. It's amazing. Look, I'll do it again. I'll show you. In, out, in, out, in, and the thread, it's miraculous. Those stitches are exactly the right length. Now someone might say, but Don, I can see from here that those stitches aren't all the same length. Well, that is because where the needle goes in and where the needle comes out isn't always the same distance. And so, yes, there will be some variation there. But the thread, as I am pulling it, is perfect. This is perfectly stitched. Now, some of you might be thinking to yourself, is he pulling my leg a little bit? And I would have to answer, well, maybe just the gentlest little tug. But here's the straight stitch that I'm making on these squares. I need to turn a corner here, but I don't need to go very far. And I'm hoping that you can see the pattern in this larger square is a pheasant. In fact, it's lots of pheasants. And rather than quilting around the larger square, I'm quilting these pheasants. I did this with the fish on the other quilt that I was making. And it comes out with a really neat 3D effect on the background. So what I'm doing here, I'm using a thread that doesn't show up very well on the background of the fabric here. It shows up really nicely on the backing fabric on the other side, but it makes it look like the pheasant sticks out a little bit from the backing here, from the grass that the pheasants are running in. But this again is my stitching. I actually am stitching, and that's all I will stitch for right now. This is my Taylor Model 810. It's an early 1990s model guitar. I've taken it in a lot of places, and I've had a lot of people sign it, as you can see. I'll go over that with you one day. I've got a couple here that I'm kind of proud of. Arlo Guthrie was my first signature on this. I saw Arlo and his lovely daughter, Sarah Lee, up at the Johnny Carson Theater in Norfolk, Nebraska, quite a long time ago. I took my daughters along with me, and my wife and her mom went along. We all went to see Arlo. My daughters were grousing a little bit. This is your kind of music, Dad. We're not going to like it. All the way home, they had autographs, they had t-shirts, they had books, they had everything. And all the way home, I got to listen to I Don't Want a Pickle, Just Want to Ride on My Motorcycle. They were Arlo fans from that particular point on. And special feature on this guitar, I have a B-bender on it. It was installed. I sent it out to California to this man, a man named Gene Parsons. He invented the B-bender for an incredible bluegrass picker named Clarence White. He had one on his Telecaster. I have a Telecaster over here with a B-bender and a G-bender on it also. But I sent this out, and Gene very graciously autographed the guitar for me. This is my go-to guitar. I take it, I get a lot of signatures, and I'll go through them with you sometime. I'm sitting here in my living room. I'm going to play an old song that I wrote. I'm waxing nostalgic today, feeling my dad's birthday is coming up next Saturday. My uncle's birthday is coming up on the 31st, and mine's coming up in a little bit in April. I'm sitting in one of my grandmother's old chairs, and Grandma came from a day and age when people painted their furniture. Now, this is a beautiful walnut chair, but she painted it about 114 times. This was her favorite color, this turquoise color. It has yellow under it. It has pink under it. If I were to strip this piece of furniture, as I did some other pieces of furniture that she had, I would probably take off 18 or 20 layers of paint, and I would get to what was very nice wood. But only poor people had wood furniture. People who had painted their furniture. And so Grandma painted this, and I haven't had the heart to strip it down and straighten it up, and I don't think I ever will. I want to play this old song. This is about my hometown down in Kansas. He rode an old Harley, red, white, and chrome. We'd go out riding when the folks visited home. I'd sit on the gas tank while he'd ride real slow up them white Kansas rock roads such a long time ago. On warm summer evenings when the day's work was done, we'd head for the river to have us some fun. We'd fish off the bridge in the cottonwood shade and hum back the tunes that the locust had made. Catfish and cottonwoods, coon dogs and quail, going down to the corner to pick up the mail. Other times, other places that I'd like to see. Catfish and cottonwoods calling to me. Red flannel work shirts and blue Oshkosh bibs, bales in the meadow and corn in the cribs. Working the land with his old John Deere A. He could have farmed newer, but he liked things that way. Had a 31 Ford he'd rebuild in the barn. He tinkered the engine till it ran like a charm. Was his pride, was his passion, and it kept him alive. Till down in the meadow, taught the grandkids to drive. Catfish and Cottonwoods, coon hogs and quail, tractors and combines, hammers and nails, other friends and old faces that I'd like to see. Catfish and Cottonwoods calling to me. Now they sleep beneath the prairie, but a day won't go by when a sudden old memory brings a tear to my eye. On the road to forever, there's a cottonwood tree where that old Ford and Harley sit waiting for me. Catfish and cottonwoods, coon dogs and quail, going down to the corner to pick up the mail. Their memories follow wherever I roam. Catfish and cottonwoods calling me home. Catfish and cottonwoods calling me home. Well, that's stitching and a little picking as well. I need to mention that this beautiful fabric here I got from Kelly up at the Quilter's Cottage up on North 2nd Avenue. And I sewed it together with my beautiful new Genome 9850 sewing machine. Oh, it's got the embroidery tables and everything with it. And I bought that from Paul down at Kearney Quality Sewing Vac down on East 25th here in Kearney as well. So I need to mention them. If you need anything, sewing notions or machines or good vacuum cleaners, but go see Paul out at Quality, go see Kelly up at the Quilter's Cottage. Now, I need to mention that I am in my home. Beautiful walls here were painted by my grandchildren. The segment was written, directed, and produced by me, Don. My technical director is my lovely granddaughter, Olivia. And see, what else do I need to mention? Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening was written by Robert Frost.
Grandpa.
And I'll quit now. Thank you. See you next time.